everybody start tonight in just a comfortable seated position. So whatever that means for you, perhaps it's cross-legged or soles of feet touching. Maybe it's even soles of feet to the floor and knees bent. But as long as you can feel the sits bones underneath you and you can feel rooted to the earth. The other important thing here in this seat is that we not feel tucked under through the tailbone. So we want to really adjust those sits bones, walking them back a bit and drawing length through the spine to feel the natural inward curve of that lumbar. From there, the hands will rest down onto the legs, feeling a little bit of extra weight from the hands, and allowing yourself to become super aware of the points that are in contact with the earth through your mat. So just taking this first few moments to notice yourself present physically on the mat. Feel your shoulders draw back over your hips and feel the collarbones broaden as the blades drop downward toward the hips. So again, that rooted, weighted feeling across the back body. And then we'll counter that with a lifted or light feeling through the chest as it opens over the collarbones and through the crown as it lifts tall to lengthen the spine. And as we come into this physical space, we'll begin to take our attention to the mind, just noticing kind of where your mind is at right now. As we first arrive on the mat, there might be a bit of inner chatter happening. Thoughts about what has gone on today or what has yet to come this evening. Just notice. And as each thought arises, simply acknowledge it and allow it to release without attaching a storyline or plan to it. And that will be helped by beginning to follow your breath. Starting by simply noticing your natural breath cycle. Notice if you feel any places in that inhale that might be stuck. Any places on the exhale that might feel they could come a little bit deeper. And then begin to really lengthen each inhale, imagining you're filling up a glass of water right to the tipping point. And then your exhale slowly but completely releases that water out from top to bottom as if there's a tiny little pinhole at the bottom. Filling up and releasing out over and over. And again, if the mind begins to swirl, simply guide it back to the rise of the inhale and the emptying of the exhale. As you begin to find both physical and mental stillness here, take a minute to simply set an intention for your practice. Whatever that might be, perhaps it's just finding space physically for yourself today. Maybe it's finding some peace mentally or emotionally for yourself today. Or perhaps it's sending out energy or thoughts to others who might need them. Just take a minute to feel that deeply into the back of your chest, breathing it in. And as you breathe out, imagine that intention is being sent out into the world so that as you practice, you feel it a bit more deeply. On your next breath in, let the eyes open and the arms rise up. Let the gaze follow the hands up to the top. And then bring the hands through center chest, pressing palms together. Spread the fingers really wide. Press the palms actively so you actually feel the muscles engage from back to front. Deep breath in here. Full breath out. Interlace your fingers. Press the palms forward and upward. Inhale. And as you exhale, push forward, round the spine back. So it's almost like a seated cat-cow. We inhale, lift, lengthen, rise. Exhale, round, release. Good. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, round and release. One more time, lift and lengthen. And then as you round and release, take your hands to the knees. Pressing the knees into the hands as you push back through those shoulder blades, and you'll feel a little bit deeper rounding between the blades. From here, take your left hand to your right knee. Push back a little more actively through your left rib cage. Coming through center with your hands, you'll take it in the opposite direction. Both hands to your left knee. Push through your right rib cage. And then slowly rise to center. If you are not already in cross-legged position, you will take cross-legged with left leg forward. So left shin in front of right. And you'll take the fingertips to face inward, lifting your chest, broadening the collarbones. Send the torso over those shins and start to give a bit of rocking from side to side. Feeling that deeply through the hips, in particular on the left side. And then simply rest through center here and tap the fingers to the floor so that you can feel rooted from front to back. So you don't want to kind of feel like you're rocking up off the sits bones. Walk your hands now over to your right side, pushing back through that left hip, feeling the stretch across the side of your waist. Walking your right hand beside your right hip, you'll lift the left arm up overhead. Pressing down through that left hip as you press out through the left rib cage, feel that nice deep stretch. Now, if you tend to get a stitch through your right side, simply tent the fingers and lift the hip or the rib away from the hip a bit. That will create space and length for you. And then you'll slowly circle both hands to the knees again and find the seated cat-cow with hands to knees this time. Open the chest, breathe in. Round the spine, breathe out. Open and breathe in. Round and breathe out. Good. Coming back to neutral spine, switch the way the legs are crossed. Fingertips facing in once again, lift and open the chest. Fold it forward. And a bit of rocking once again from side to side. Just shifting the weight. And coming through center, settling here again, fingertips tenting to the earth, broadening across the chest as you notice that right hip stretch a bit deeper. And then slowly walk your hands over, this time to your left side, pushing down and back through the right hip. Place your left hand out beside your left hip. Right arm will reach up overhead, and you'll press down through that right hip. Good. Again, tenting the fingers and lifting as an option if you're feeling that through the waist a bit. And then circling back. From here, seated cat-cow. Open, breathe in. Round, breathe out. Last time, open, breathe in. Round, breathe out. We'll find our way onto hands and knees in tabletop pose. Taking knees under hips and wrists under shoulders. Just finding that alignment, finding any free movement, perhaps cat-cows. For me, I like these hip circles where you just kind of circle back and forth. After seated for a long time, it feels good to move those hips. One more breath in this free movement. And then just come back to your neutral spine and walk the hands back so we're now standing on knees. We're going to take the right foot out to the side and continue with that length through the side of the waist. Fingertips draw down on the right side, left arm reaches up. Pushing down through that left knee as you lift up through the rib cage and over to the right side. Nice deep stretch across the side of the waist. We're going to open the chest up on a breath in. And imagine you could close and maybe even reach for that right thumb as you breathe out. So you feel it right across the low back. Inhale, open up. Exhale, close, reach for that thumb. Last time, open up. This time you're going to grab either the forearm, the wrist, or the hand and just pull down. Keeping the hip pressing down and back a little bit so you feel that stretch right over the side of the waist on the left. Slowly circle the hands through center, taking them right to the earth. You'll push back through your hips and then forward stacking hip over knee again. Press back, draw forward. Now as we press back, you find the place where you feel your edge, so your deepest stretch through the inner thigh on that right leg, and we stay here for 3 full breaths. Walking your hands up, you'll take the left hand to the earth. Now the right arm reaches up. So you have this little line from the outer ankle on the right to the fingertips on the right, making this little arc or rainbow. And then scoot that left hand out a bit so that you can then lift up. So now you're finding this extended, supported side plank. From here, take the arm up toward the ceiling, and you're going to close off the ribs and tap the opposite shoulder blade under the body. You inhale, open up. You exhale, tap the blade. Last time, inhale, open up. Exhale, tap the blade. Now, as you inhale, you'll reach, and as you exhale, pull elbow and knee to touch. Lengthen and touch. Lengthen and touch. Good. Release the foot to the earth. Stretch one last time. And come back through center with the hands. Let that right knee come underneath your right hip. One cat-cow here, maybe eyes closed, and tap into the difference in the two sides. You'll feel a difference. As you come through neutral, walk the hands back once again. This time, left leg will extend out to the side. Left fingertips draw down the left leg. You reach the right arm up. And you feel that nice deep stretch over the side of the waist. We'll inhale to open the chest up and exhale to tap toward that thumb. Inhaling, we open. Exhaling, tap. Last time, open up. And now tap and hold. So grabbing hold of something, whether it's the elbow, wrist, or maybe the forearm, and pressing back a little bit through that right hip. And slowly circle the hands to the earth. You'll press your hips back toward the heel, and then bring it forward. Press back. And draw forward. Last time, press back, finding your edge. Will be here for 3 breaths. Feeling the inner left thigh open up. walking your hands back under your shoulders. Bring the right hand out to the right. Left arm will reach, finding that really deep rainbow arc from the ankle to tips of fingers. Shift your right hand forward a bit and draw the leg and the arm up. So the leg comes to parallel with the floor, arm comes to point to the ceiling. Tap to your shoulder blade. Rise and open. Close and tap. Last time, rise and open. Close and tap. And now you will rise on the inhale and crunch on the exhale. Extending on the inhale, crunching on the exhale. Last time, extend, crunch and pull in. And then slowly you'll let that leg drop down, take that final stretch, and bring the hands back to the earth in front of you, left knee under the hip. Cat-cow here, eyes closed. Notice whether or not you feel a bit more balanced from side to side here. Coming back to your neutral spine, your left toes will extend back behind you. Push back through your heel, feeling the back of your heel and up the calf. Let your right toes touch the floor, curled under, letting the left knee lift up off of the earth. So you feel the entire calf here now. And then slowly, right leg will come to the earth. Left leg will rise to hip height. You're gonna bend the knee and push up through the glute. So just feeling that glute activate a bit. And then extend the leg behind you to the right side. So you have this little kind of diagonal here. Let the forearms drop to the earth. I'm just gonna adjust my light. Breathe here. You'll now feel your right outer hip start to activate a bit more. That's a little better. Nope, that's darker. And come right back through center. Forearms stay to the earth. Knees are under hips. Push your hips back. Feel that in your shoulders. So we're just starting to work through each part of the body here. I'm trying to get my light so that you guys don't see me as just a complete shadow. That's better, I think. Okay, now you're gonna come back to neutral, drawing your right foot back behind you. Push back through your heel. Feeling the lower part of the calf, maybe even into the mid-upper calf. Curl those left toes under and just hover that left knee as you get deeper into that upper calf. And slowly release the knee down, let the leg come to hip height. Bend the knee, sole of foot towards ceiling, push up through the glute. So just activating the glute once again. Now extend the leg and take it behind you to the left side. Dropping the forearms down, feel the support of the left outer hip. And then come back to neutral, hands under shoulders, knee under hip. We'll take the left foot back once again, lift to hip height. Now, we're gonna find spinal balance, extending out through right fingertips. Imagine that you could push the floor away with your left hand so actively that you actually feel the entire chest lift up a little bit more. From here, tap everything to the floor. Pinky, finger, and toes. Lift up, tap down. Lift up, and tap. Last time you're gonna lift, and then you're gonna curl and tap elbow and knee. Extend, curl and tap. Extend, curl and tap. Last time you'll extend, you're gonna curl and tap, hold this crunch here, and then release out into a spinal balance once again. Dropping the hand, dropping the knee, and extending back through right toes, lifting to hip height, Spinal balance, left arm extends. Pushing again through now the right hand as you feel support through the shoulder. Tap everything to the earth and lift. Good. Tap and lift. Last time tap, lift up. Now pull under and extend. Under and extend. Last time, under, extend, hold in balance, drop the hand, drop the knee. Take your shins and feet as wide as your mat. Press back, find child's pose. So legs should feel somewhat warm after getting through the backs of the calves and getting those hip flexors to work for us. Now opening up the hips just a bit deeper. Let's flip the palms. So again, getting into the shoulders. And slowly flip those palms back. Take your hands underneath your shoulders. Walk your left knee in towards center. So you walk it back in towards center line. Right knee is still wide. Extend that right leg behind you. Take the knee to the shoulder and place it outside of your pinky finger. So now you're coming into this supported lunge. Your hands can be to the earth. They can be propped on tips of fingers, or they can be on blocks. But wherever we are, we want the collarbones to broaden and the chest to present forward through the shoulders. So really feeling this through the front of the left leg and the inner thigh and hip crease on the right leg. Let's curl those left toes under. Push back through your heel. You're lifting right up off of that knee. You're going to circle from right to left, kind of rolling over those left toes, feeling those hips move. And then let that left knee drop down to the earth. Plant into the left hand, open up the right arm, nice deep twist in this wide lunge. Placing the hand down on the mat, bring your right knee back in line with the hip. Take your left knee wide and extend the leg behind you. Draw your knee to your shoulder and place it beside your pinky finger. So it might even come outside the line of your mat. Let your hips drop forward and down. Open up across the chest. So simply breathe into whatever sensation you're feeling. Allow your inhale to help you notice the sensation, and allow your exhale to release it. Curl the right toes under, press back through the heel as the knee lifts up. This time you'll circle from left to right. And drop that knee down, planting into the right hand, left arm will lift and open for this nice open twist. Dropping the hand down, bringing the knee underneath your hip. Find one cat-cow here, let's reset. As you come back to neutral, let your right leg extend behind you. Pull that knee under the body and round the spine so much that maybe you can slide that foot right between the hands. However you get there, it doesn't need to be fancy, but we're going to eventually come up to this lunge where our hands are going to be supported on that right knee and the hips will drop forward and down. So we're now a little bit more aligned through the hips rather than having the right leg wide. You might feel more through the hip flexor and hip crease, but not as much through inner groin with this type of a lunge. Allow the arms to rise up, and then open the elbows like cactus arms, pushing the arms back. Good, feel that open across the chest, across the shoulders. Breathing here. Now on your inhale, you're opening the chest, and on the exhale, you're gonna close those arms off, squeeze. Good, inhale. Exhale, close and squeeze. So it's that same activity that we took at the very beginning of class. When the forearms and palms touch, you press them. One more time. Press. Good. Send the arms right up overhead. Thumbs come down to the nape of the neck, and you lift that chest up and open. Beautiful. Slowly release the hands to the knee once again. You'll shift your hips back as you straighten out that right leg. We're coming into this half split. So balance may not be your friend here, which might mean you need to take the right leg out to the right a little bit more. That will give you a little bit more balance from left to right. But wherever you are, chest is lengthening and opening. And you're imagining that heel is glued to the floor and you want to pull it back. So you activate that hamstring right through the center of that belly of the hamstring. We're going to move with our breath here. The inhale will rise us into the lunge. The exhale will sweep us back to that half split. So again, your breath, your movement. Move as mindfully as you can to maintain balance. Last time you'll come back to that half split, but this time instead of resting the hands, you'll interlace them behind your back. Draw the knuckles down as the chest lengthens toward that big toe. Feel that opening right across front of shoulders and squeezing the blades toward one another behind you. Now slowly release the hands, rise into that lunge again, and both hands will come inside the leg. So with the hands inside the leg, again, we're going to curl the toes of the left leg under. This time you'll find that right knee much closer to your shoulder. Press back through that left heel. Rock forward to the tips of the left toes. Press back. Rock forward and press back. Feel what this is doing to the underside, so the hamstring and glute insertion points on that right leg. And then slowly drop down. Let that right knee come underneath the hip. Find a cat-cow here. In your cat back, push your hips back towards your heels a bit and just lengthen the lumbar spine. Good. Slowly come back toward neutral. Left leg will come back and lift to hip height. You'll pull the knee under the chest, rounding so much that maybe you can create enough space to send the foot through. Otherwise, lift the torso up and then step through. Whatever works. Hands to the knee as we drop the hips low. And shoulders drop down the back. Slowly, we're going to send the arms up. Again, open like cactus arms. On an exhale, close and press. Inhale, open. Exhale, close and press. Inhale, open. Last time, close and press. Send the arms up and the thumbs to the nape of the neck. Using that little cradle to lift the head a bit. And then slowly releasing the hands to the knee. You'll lift those hips and send that left leg straight. Doing whatever you need from left to right to find some balance. Pulling that heel back gently, feeling the back of the leg open. And we'll start to move with our breath. We inhale to rise and lengthen to that lunge, and we exhale to sweep back. Inhaling and exhaling. Last time we rise. And as we come back, the hands interlace behind you, knuckles drawing down and back. If this is not comfortable, you can always grab your shirt and kind of pull back. Same opening, just a little less crunching through the shoulders. Slowly release into your lunge. Drop the hands inside that left leg. Curl your toes under on the right side, push back. You're going to roll to the tips of the toes and then press back through the heel. Again, you're going to feel this right in the hamstring where glute and hamstring meet. Not intense, just activating. Last time you'll find neutral. Drop that knee down. Bring the left knee underneath the hip. Push back, but take the forearms to the earth and then push as if you're coming into child's pose. You're going to feel this a little bit more in the shoulders, just as we did earlier. And slowly rise to neutral. Let that right leg come up and lift to hip height. You're going to send it through for a lunge, however you get there, and your left hand will plant. To start, let's take the right hand to the knee and twist open. So you twist toward that right knee. You can stay right here. Second option is to curl the toes under to get deeper into the quad and the hip flexor. Third option is to use your right hand to grab for the left foot. That's just a deeper option through the hip flexor and the quad. Yeah, I know, right? Yes, I know, it's insane. You can always take like a strap or a towel and kind of try and loop it around too. Same action though happens by pressing back. We're here for one more breath. And wherever you are, you're going to release down. And now with the right hand to the knee, turn the toes out cornerwise and let the knee fall open. Getting a little bit deeper now through inner thigh. And then slowly start to walk your right foot to the left. You're gonna, it's just as easy as kind of letting yourself fall to that hip. Draw your heel in on the right side and then square off. So then you kind of bring the hips to square. And that might mean that your hip lifts right up off the floor. That's fine. Just be really mindful of the knee. And if it's too much on the knee, stay down to the hip and bend the left knee up. Otherwise, bring the forearms to the earth in front of right shin and lengthen downward. You should feel entire outer right hip here. Slowly begin to walk your hands over to the left. You'll start to bring in a little bit more stretch through the low back here. And then draw back through center and prop up onto your hands. Now, same principles apply as when we were in the lunge. Toes can curl under and you can lift up off of that left knee to get deeper into the hip flexor. Or this time, left hand will reach for left leg. So again, totally optional. Not as challenging as the lunge in terms of kind of like the contortion needed to get into it, but still very deep across that quad. And then slowly release. Let the hands walk in front of you and slowly kind of step that left knee up as the right hip lifts from the floor so you can come right back to your neutral spine in tabletop. Round your spine into your cat back and push your hips back towards your heels. This time, shift your hips to the left and come through center, shift your hips to the right. And then all the way back through center. Left leg will extend behind. Send that left foot through for your lunge and let your right hand plant. We start with left hand to knee. Begin by finding a twist. Options are to stay where you are or curl the toes, lifting up off the knee, or perhaps reaching back and grabbing hold of that right foot with the left hand. Slowly release wherever you are. Left hand comes to the knee, toes turn out cornerwise, and you peel that knee open to get into the inner thigh. From here, you're going to walk that left foot over to the right side, and it's kind of easy to just lean into the left hand and sit down first, and then adjust the heel inward and decide whether or not squaring the hips feels okay on that left knee. And wherever you land, even if you land in this little 90-90 pose, your torso comes over your left shin and ankle. Begin to walk the hands over to your right side, bringing that left low back into the stretch. And then come back through center, propping up onto the hands. Again, options are curl your toes to lift that knee, or maybe lean into left hand and reach back with right, going for that mermaid pose. I wish there were a shark pose, because I've been getting all these alerts on my Sharktivity app. The Cape is just like riddled with great whites right now. It's good eats, vacation season for sharks on the Cape. All right, we're gonna release that down. Walk that knee up to create space to send that left leg back. And we're gonna come back into that wide child's pose. So knees and shins wide, hips back. This time, palms will come to touch and thumbs will come to nape of neck. We're going to release the hands and walk the entire body forward, coming right down onto the belly and then bringing those legs back in line with the hips. With the forearms on the earth, let the upper arm bones drop or rise and the head and chest drop. Let your head hang heavy like a bowling ball off of that neck. If you're not feeling that little compression through the upper traps, those muscles between earlobes and tips of shoulder, walk your forearms either more forward or in toward one another until you find that sweet spot. It's different in every single body. And then slowly release that by lifting the head. You're going to bend your right hand so that the forearm comes parallel to the short side of the mat. Lean slightly right and reach back for that left foot. Then you'll square off, let your chest drop down toward the floor and pull the heel toward the glute. Now again, you can do this with the help of a strap or a blanket that's wrapped around the foot. But once you start to pull the heel toward the glute, you'll feel the front of the hip release from the earth. Try and press the front of the hip down into the earth and feel how that makes the stretch much deeper. Now, take a grip so that your thumb is on the big toe side of your foot. And you're going to kick into the hand, which will help not only open the hip flexor, but also the front of the left shoulder. and release that down. Stack forearms on top of one another, bend both knees, switch those feet back and forth. And then right back to neutral, left arm to the earth, right hand behind to grab right foot. Pull that heel down and push the front of the hip into the earth. The more you press the hip down, you will feel the knee kind of slide back on the mat, and you'll feel the hip flexor open even more. And then change the grip so the thumb is on the big toe edge and kick. Releasing down. Forearms touch, rest the forehead, bend the knees, and windshield wiper here. Release that down. Prop up onto your forearms like Sphinx pose once again, and draw the right knee out. So this is one of our favorites. We find this little half frog pose. And again, there's obviously a gap between the inner thigh and the floor. We want to try and press that inner thigh downward and the knee outward to create deeper stretch from inner groin to inner knee. And then with your right hand extended, you're going to thread your left arm under, take your right hand to your hip, and then roll open, keeping that knee to the earth so you feel this nice deep twist across the low back. Now, we're here for 2 more breaths. You have an option because we're so open. You could possibly bend that extended left leg and reach. So you find it's called cat grabbing its tail. So you find that little quad stretch. And if you kick into the hand as you grab the foot, you'll feel that come deeper into the shoulder. And slowly release wherever you are. Use your right hand to the earth to unthread the left arm. Bring that right knee back into place. And just kind of rock from hip to hip. That releases the back a bit. Draw your left knee up into half frog, pushing down and out through the inner thigh. And then left arm extends, right arm threads, and you start to take the left hand to the hip and open up. So it's 5 breaths total in this position. And if you so choose, you can bend the lengthened leg and reach with that hand to grab hold. Slowly release wherever you are. Left hand to the earth to unthread the right and come right back to that supported Sphinx pose on forearms. We're going to take Yin Sphinx once again by dropping the chest and the head heavy between those shoulders. And then letting the hands come beside your ribs as you draw up and back to a comfortable seat. So kind of back where we started. Coming into a comfortable seat, whatever that feels like for you. We are going to take a twist. So if soles of the feet are down, you'll take the twist this way. Otherwise, either way, the hand is going to be to the knee. Right hand will come behind you. Left arm will reach up, create length first, and then bring that length with you as you twist. Hand comes outside of the knee. Ring out from left to right, getting into low back. And slowly coming back through center. Now left hand behind, right arm lengthens up, finding that twist as you cross over the left knee. and come right back through center. If soles of feet are not already there, they're gonna reach the floor. Hands will come behind the knees. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, round out. Lift and lengthen. Round and rinse. Last time, lift and lengthen. Now, as you round, you're gonna slowly draw your heels up off of the floor and roll all the way down to the earth. So as your back reaches the mat, just find a bit of rocking from side to side here, left to right. And then you're going to extend your left leg all the way down the mat and pull that right knee outside of your rib cage and down into your right shoulder. So you almost want to kind of reach the armpit with that shoulder, or that's what you are thinking of. Again, may not happen today. Release that grip and send the heel of the right leg up, interlacing behind the knee, the shin or the ankle, and drawing the big toe back, getting right into that hamstring. So there are some pose series that are kind of always my go-to, especially when we're doing deep stretching. And this is definitely one of them. Now what's going to be a little bit different today is that you're going to reach your left hand outside of your right leg. Let your right arm come out. We often do this small guided diagonal. We're going to come all the way across, so that right hip, will reach right up off the floor as you twist. You will feel it all the way down the outer hip and into the outer fiber of the hamstring. From there, come back through center. Take the right hand to either the inner knee or the inner arch and pull down for half happy baby. Releasing that right leg down. You'll feel the right leg is a little longer than the left, so let's pull the left knee in, interlace around the shin or behind the knee. Thigh comes wide, knee comes down into inner upper shoulder. And then send the heel high, pressing up through the heel, flexing the toes back. Reaching with the right hand for the outer left leg. Left arm opens up. You guide that leg over to the right. Oh, and you get that outer thigh and outer fiber of the hamstring to open up. Slowly release through center. Reach for either the inner knee or the inner arch and pull the knee down. So you think of this dot just beside your rib cage that's on the mat. You almost want that knee to touch it. And slowly release, legs long. Take the legs and walk them over to your right side. Cross your left ankle over your right ankle. Interlace your hands behind and flip the palms to press to the wall behind you. Reach to your right side. Little stretch on that side of the waist. Come back through center, bringing the legs now to your left as you cross right over left and reach the arms to the left. So you feel this, again, little banana stretch from ankles to tips of fingers. And we'll come right back through center, both knees into the chest. Again, rocking a bit from side to side. Releasing the hands down, sending the legs up. Now what's nice about being in your own home, if you so choose, you can rest the heels right against a wall. And you can actually even hang out here for Shavasana, or you can let the legs just float. With the legs lifted though, take a minute to notice just the circulation that's flowing through the legs. Even though we didn't have a rigorous flow tonight, there was still a lot of nice deep circulation opening, stretching and lengthening. If you choose to stay here for Shavasana, you can stay. Otherwise, draw the knees into your chest. Tuck yourself into a tight ball. Take a breath in. And on the breath out, release long and relax down into your Shavasana. Just finding this place of stillness here on your mat. Allowing the body to rest downward. Just feeling the back body become heavy. Feeling the front body become light and lifted. And as you rest, allow the mind to still as well. Perhaps bringing it back to that image of water filling and rising to the tipping point, and then releasing outward and downward. begin to bring your attention back to your physical body, allowing the breath to flow deeply, and allowing the breath to bring movement back to fingers and toes, perhaps ankles and wrists. And finding any stretches that feel right. Drawing your knees in towards your chest. And rolling off to one side before guiding yourself to a comfortable seated position with eyes closed. And as we come into another busy week, another week of uncertainty with some restrictions being lifted and other restrictions being placed back here in Massachusetts, let's just take a moment to be fully present and grateful for the space that we've created for ourselves to practice. And I'll share this reflection from Journey to the Heart. She says, "You are being led." I say this a lot because I need to hear that a lot. You are being led, you are being guided. The more I hear it, the more I believe it. The more I believe it, the more I see it. Now is the time to practice what you know. Trust, let go, stay as peaceful as you can. Stay right here in the present moment. Sharpen your intuition, your inner voice, your consciousness and your awareness. Do the little things that appear right and the things that are right before you. Feel your feelings, move your fear, wrap up in self-love. Trust that you are being guided and you are being led. And so in these times that are uncertain, as we wonder what might happen in the fall, generally a time of fresh start and new beginnings, let's trust that somehow, some way together, being present and being mindful, we will arrive there. I invite you to rise the arms up overhead and draw the palms to touch in front of you. I'll seal our time together with a single round of Om. Inhaling. Surrendering the head to the heart as you swallow in the back of your throat. Raising your thumb knuckles to center forehead. All that is light and love in me honors and shines to all that is light and love in each of you. Thank you for attending. Namaste.